All right, hello everyone. Merry Christmas and happy holidays and soon to be Happy New Year. Just gonna wait a couple minutes while I set up for people to come in if they're joining us. And if you're joining us later, welcome. You don't need anything special for this creative practice today. You can just listen along and set your intention that way, or you could write with pen and paper. You could use watercolors, which is what I'm using today. How is your holiday going so far? All right, candles lit, the pens and papers and paints. For those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Jennifer Russell, and Building Wings Studio is my space, my creative space. I am a certified Color of Woman teacher, and as well as a Cosmic Smash Booking teacher. I have studied Reiki up to the master level, as well as Celtic Reiki. And I really love working on my own creative practice and helping others to get started on their own creative practice. Doesn't mean you have to be a professional artist or create images that are for the gallery, but it's images that are for you and help you to get to know yourself a little better. So let's get started. Today we're going to do just a small little project to help us reflect on our 2019 and setting an intention for 2020. So let's settle in, and I'm just going to get you to take 3 breaths. So we're going to start with our first one, big breath in, and we're just going to release all the things that brought us to this moment. Maybe you're having a crazy day, it's very busy, and you just need to unwind. So let's take a breath in for that, and breathe out all the things that brought you to this moment. For a second breath, I want you to stretch into the future a little bit, and we're just going to let go of all the things that we are thinking about that we need to do or should do. What do we need to get done? Let's just let those go for a little bit. Breathe in, and let's let go of those. On our third breath, we're going to breathe in, and we're just going to feel our body in the now. So breathe in. Pay attention to your lungs, to your shoulders, where you're holding any tension. Do you have any tingling sensations? What parts of your 5 senses are you using right now? What can you smell? What can you hear? What can you feel? And while we're in this present moment, let's just take some time to settle into our body and hold 2019 in your heart. If you were to wrap up 2019, How does it feel? Think about how you've grown. Think about your biggest highlight. Think about the things that maybe didn't go so well. Let's reflect on those and then release them. And as a whole, how does your 2019 wrap up? How does it make you feel? Breathe deeply as you take that in. Now, I want you to imagine into the future. How do you hope to feel? What things do you want to accomplish this year? What would it feel like? What skills are you hoping to develop? Where do you want to put your focus this year? Even if it's short term, even if it's just the next 30 days. How do you want to feel? What does that look like? Imagine your perfect year. Imagine your interactions with others. Imagine what your work would look like, your social life. Your spare time. So take some time to really visualize it. See the colors. What does it feel like? Use your 5 senses in your imagination as you dream about the future for 2020. Try not to let that critic come in. And just let it be what it is, your imagination. What would it look like? What would it sound like? What would it taste like? Now hold that feeling, and is there one word? There might be a few coming up in your mind, but is there one that really sticks out for you? What is a word that you could relate that feeling to? Something you could hold as a measure for all the things this year. For me right now, the word that's coming is momentum. I think that my word for this year will be momentum. Maybe a word didn't come up for you. So I'm going to list off a few words, and maybe one of those will resonate with you. If you've already got your word, that's awesome. Hang on to that. So some other words that might resonate with you if one didn't come up for you. Connect, adventure, empowered, sparkle, organize, compassion, imagine, balance, courage, calm, aware, focused, integrity, authentic, simplify, grateful, surrender, hope, trust, intention, relationship, confidence, celebrate, grow, vitality, explore, strong, lead, patient, abundance, kind. So if a word didn't come up for you, maybe there was one there that made you excited or feel inspired or that you desire. So next we're going to move into just a little creative fun with our word. So you could write your word with pen and pencil and decorate it however you'd like with crayons. But I'm going to use some water. This tends to be the practice I do every year. I use just some clean water, and I've got my Crayola watercolors. And I better make sure I'm going to spell my word right. So my word was momentum. All right, it's what I thought it was. I've done that before where I think I know how to spell a word and then I do not. Or I'm so concentrated on the letters that I end up spelling it wrong anyway. So here we go. Welcome if you're just joining us now, and welcome if you're watching later. Feel free to put any comments or questions in, share your word, share your experiences below. So I'm just taking some clean water and I'm going to write my word in the water. It's a little tricky to see, which kind of makes it fun. And then I'm just going to take some colors, get them nice and wet, and I'm going to drop in to the letters that I wrote and let it spread out. Now you could stay all in the same color family with reds and pinks and purples. You could use purples and blues, or you could do a rainbow. I thought that was red, but it was orange. We're just going to keep going with that. This must be red. Oh. And as you're working on your word, whether you're painting it or decorating it, right, think about the areas of your life where this word can touch. So for me, how can momentum affect my relationships? How can it affect my creative work? How can it affect my day job? When something comes up for me, a question or a choice or a decision, I can ask myself, is this going to give me momentum? And is it giving me momentum in the direction that I want? Some of my water's starting to dry up on me, so I might need to go over it a little more. Just trying to think what color I want to end with. Already got pink, orange, red, purple, blue. Maybe I'll put a darker blue. Momentu. I always have to keep checking myself too that I spelled it right. Maybe a bit of lighter blue. So I'm just kind of going back over my letters again, putting the water on and then dropping in the colors. And then I'm just going to take some of the colors that I used and let them drip and splatter. And then I'm just going to take some clean water too and just let it splash. And then I'm going to let it dry. So now I have a little something that I can hang up somewhere where I could see it. I can hang it up at work, I could put it on a mirror, and then just to remind myself what my intention is for this year. Now sometimes the word doesn't last all year. Sometimes I get through a few months and then realize that there's another word that I want to work on. Or maybe I have words underneath that that I'm focusing on for each month to help build that momentum. So once you have your word and you have a visual of it, then you can take some time to journal about it or think it out a bit. So what are some actions that I can take to build momentum or the feeling of momentum? What would I need to do to feel momentum? And for me, that would be moving. Sometimes I feel stagnant. So the opposite to that is momentum, which is why that word came to me. So when I take some time to journal, I'll look at where can I build momentum in building wings? Maybe 3 things. I might look at where can I build momentum in relationships? 1, 2, 3, and maybe who that might be, and maybe an action I can take for that, even if it's just a short-term one. I might look at, I'm a school music teacher, so at school, where can I build momentum in my work and with kids? And how can I get them excited about momentum this year? Where else? Let's see. So relationships, and social. What skills do I hope to build or acquire that would help me with momentum? 1, 2, 3. So really you can come up with any categories that are important to you. Maybe in my spiritual and creative practices, where can I start to make some movement there, and how? In my wellness, physical and mental, what are some things I could do in there? So those are the things that I'm going to work on next. So I hope you enjoyed that little practice. I always have a lot of fun just making a mess, but you could also just write out your word and decorate it, or do bubble letters and do Zentangles inside, or you might just write your word out or type it into your phone on your screen, and that way it's popping up for you every time you check your phone. So how do you want your 2020 to feel? What's your vision for that? I'd love to hear it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. In one way that I hope to build momentum with my creative work in Building Wings is to offer more in-person classes in 2020, as well as building an online library. Some of the things I hope to do is do a chakra-based class where we go through each of the chakras over the months, as well as in Celtic Reiki. I hope to do some work with the book that I illustrated. So as well as continuing with our Building Wings animals. So you'll see me that way, and you've heard it here. So that should give me some accountability on showing up for you and myself. So Happy New Year, happy holidays, and I would love to hear from you. Talk to you soon. See you later. Take care.